What's up, guys? I'm Isaac here at Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson with your pre-owned bike of the week. This 2022 Harley-Davidson Sportster 48. So this motorcycle right here is one of the last Harley-Davidson Sportsters that were made, or at least the previous generation of Sportsters that we saw rocking that air-cooled Evolution motor. Today we see the Sportster S rocking that 1250 Revolution Max liquid-cooled powertrain and the Nightster running that 975 version. But on the previous Sportster line, all we had was air-cooled, and the question was always, do you have the 1200 or the 883cc Sportster? And this one here is a 48, so it came with the 1200 variation of that motor. A couple of things that offset it was really going for that bobber look, you know, that kind of street slammer, running around town look. So one of its most defining characteristics is that much smaller gas tank. You're running about a 2.2 gallon tank up top, and then this little bit wider front tire up here to really give it that more aggressive stance to it. So this one does have a pretty low slung exhaust system here on the other side, which we'll show you here in just a minute. But it's pretty much got a good balance of black and chrome going all around on it. You do have the single rotor up on the front. But other than that, this motorcycle is very basic motorcycle. You know, it's a Harley-Davidson bike ready to go rip around. So you don't have ABS, you don't have traction control, you don't have a fuel gauge. But you do have a couple other little things that we're going to talk about. You do have the halogen headlight, as well as with the turn signals and the rear brake light turn signal combo in the back. Very basic gauge, which we'll dive into the features on that one here on the ride. This one did underturn the mirrors there just a little bit, just make it look a little bit cooler. You've got this really gorgeous blue up here, and this one in particular has this beautiful pollen dusting, as does everything in North Carolina right now. And so yeah, and it's got forward controls, and the pegs do have the little wear bars on them, so you can kind of get a little bit better feel if you end up scraping pegs on this bike. Really thin little seat. Just you know, like I said, you know, just enough to really put you down lower on the motorcycle. You've got the exposed rear shocks. You do have a little brace up here in the front too, just to help really make that front end just hold together a little bit better. And this powertrain is rubber mounted too, which means it's going to shake just the right amount here for you. But other than that, it's Harley-Davidson Sportster true and true. I mean, it's ready to go rip around. These bikes sound great, and they're so much fun to go ride. It's just very sleek, very narrow profile of them. And just to show you what a rider looks like on these bikes, so myself, it's a very comfortable ride. You are sitting a little bit lower on it, so for riders with a little bit shorter reach, it'd work really well with them, especially, like I said, it's a very slimmer profile, and it's pretty light too. This one does already have engine guard up there, a little bit higher mount there. It looks like a Bung King crash bar mounted up a little bit higher, so you don't have to worry about scraping, and it works with these forward controls. And you know, on these longer rides, you can kind of stretch your feet out on them there if you need to. But like I said, it's got forward controls, so you are stretched out a little bit on this bike. It's got lower bars, so you're able to lean down a little bit too when you're really getting ready to go rip on it. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty basic, ready to go rip around. So we're gonna go show you how it does. All right, what's up, guys? Here it is, 2022 Harley-Davidson Sportster 48, rocking 1200cc air-cooled Evolution motor. Super sick. Forward controls, 2-to-2 exhaust, sounds good. A little bit, just the right amount of black and chrome all over this thing. It's gorgeous. Low seat, big front tire, very aggressive stance. You do have that Bung King engine guard like I was talking about, so you can put your legs up on it. The Bung Kings are actually more of a stunt bar, so for the folks doing stunts. So I like them because, you know, if they're designed for stunting, then they're probably a little bit extra beefier than, you know, your standard ones. So they're made to get hit pretty good. So, and these seem to do very, very well. Yeah, here it is. Super cool. Cool thing about this one is the keyless entry, so you have the key fob in your pocket, so that just stays in your pocket there. Let me go ahead and show you. But there's the 2.2 or 2-ish gallon tank. Yeah, here it is. So keyless entry, so you do have your hard key for locking the forks, or locking the neck there, so a little anti-theft, but it does have the little security system on it. So you have the fob, so all that means means is it's not like the traditional Sportsters. We have to put the key in the neck and turn it on, or at least the ignition right below the neck. This one, it's very similar to how the Softails start now. So all you have to do is press the button right there, and then it's already in the run position. So we've got the bike in neutral, we got the clutch in, fired right on up, good to go. So go ahead and get some of that pollen off right there. So you'll see this bike has under 1,000 miles, right at 824, so that's pretty cool. We can cycle through everything up here with this button. So 824 miles, trip A, trip B, we got our clock, we have your gear RPMs, and all there is to it, yeah. So nothing, not too much, not too little there. So go ahead and leave it in this mode. It should be fine. We should have enough gas to get through. That is the one downfall to this bike, is you don't have a fuel gauge. So, but you have a 2.2 gallon tank, so you can pretty much just assume you'll always need gas, pretty much. Let's hear this motorcycle right quick. Oh yeah, nice little mini rev there. So yeah, and the cool thing about this one too is you have the forwards, but that's where the linkage is. The linkage is right there, so if you wanted to put mids on this, looks like it wouldn't be too hard to do. Exposed rear shocks, that's cool. Yeah, not a ton of lean angle on this, but we do have our little feeler pegs right there at the end of our foot pegs, so that way we'll start to scrape this a little bit more so than anything else. So that's pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, this thing is practically new. I mean, it looks very new. I really love the look of pollen, little pollen touch on this thing. I'm about to be covered in pollen myself here. It's a miracle I can still breathe right now. So, all right, so you see good riding position, a little more aggressive, especially up here on the, once my feet are up on the pegs. Pretty simple, yeah, it's got just the right amount of shake there for you. So, put it in first gear, feel it out a little bit. Let's go get it. Oh yeah, these things are so much fun. To the folks that are all like, Sportster's a girl's bike, the Sportster's a girl bike, I don't like them, you're dumb. These things are so much fun to go rip around. 1200 Sporty, if you don't like a 1200 Sporty, you just weren't ripping it right. So it does have a fuel light, so once we really start to get low on gas, that should come on. Otherwise, this is going to be a very interesting video. Oh yeah, suspension feels pretty good. So, yeah, so essentially what you have is 6 buttons. So you have 6 buttons on this thing. So what you're looking at, oh yeah. So like I said, you pretty much have 6 buttons on this motorcycle. So you have your turn signals on the bottom of the controls on your left or your right. And then you have your on-off switch on the right, your starter switch, as well as the hazards on the top of that. And then on the left side, you've got your high beam, your low beam, as well as a little flasher. And then beside that, you've got the horn, and the top part of the horn button is your little cycle through button there. So, cycle through things pretty well. So you cycle through everything I was just showing you right there. So, yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. Not too bad. Yeah, check just the right amount. That's so much fun. It's like, you know, you got a motorcycle here underneath you. But once you get on it, man, it smooths right on out. It's torquey too. That's one of the things I like a lot about the these smaller Harleys is, you know, they still have a lot of torque. So they're not gonna have as much horsepower, but they're rocking a good bit of torque. So they're really gonna let you roll right on that thing. Let's see, maybe we'll grass past the guy with the trailer. You fix my mirror. That's fine. So you don't have cruise control. So normally I would happily set cruise control and do that, but don't have it. So take a little peek here, merge on over. Like a little foot massager for you. Let's see if we can do this just right. So one of the things I really like about these Sportsters, man, you're really in it. Woo! This is so much fun. Solo bike, pushing 70. Chicks are on a trailer. Oh yeah, you can put a windshield on here if you're really going far, but this is fine. Feels good today, especially. Yeah, once you drop behind 60, you're getting a draft. You get all that wind off of you. This is fun. One of the fun things about being on a Sportster is what a lot of people don't realize is they are so these Sportsters are still 6-speed transmissions, but they were when this Sportster line was phased out. It never got a 6-speed gear. I think there were like aftermarket kits you could do to put a 6 gear in it if you wanted to, but your 5th gear was fine. But one of the nice parts about it is that if you were ripping on the highway, at least in my experience of riding with Sportsters, you know, I'm on an M8 Softail. I'm in 6th gear once we get on the highway. You know, I'm dropping RPMs down, letting it run a little bit lower, save a little bit more gas, that kind of stuff. So I'm doing that, but what we got going on up here? The one thing I've noticed is for those Sportster riders, I mean, since they're, you know, ripping it in, you know, the mid-range or towards the top of 5th gear, you know, when they're really going highway or interstate speeds, you know, they're already in that power band ready to roll on. So, you know, if you're riding with someone on a Sportster and they really get on it right there, then you got to make sure you're ready to downshift to keep up with them sometimes. So, and these things are just so light and nimble too. And they're just simple, you know? That's one of the reasons why they're so popular as beginner motorcycles. It's because of the simplicity. And just how fun they are. Especially when you get right behind a Subaru Crosstrek. Let's go get it. Pretty quiet too. I mean, the stock exhaust, it's got a little bit to it, so you know it's motorcycle ready to rip. But I mean, out here, you know, normal speeds, it's very quiet and very tame. Not disturbing the peace too much coming through here, I'd say. So, here's what I really want to show you is, A, just how beautiful of this day it is. It's a good spring. It's going to be a good riding season, I'm telling you folks. So, check out the lake here. Beautiful as always. A lot of folks out and about. Not too many though. It is a Monday. Most folks are already out on Easter. Yeah, so check this out. So maybe this Rivian will. There we go. All right, so you can lean pretty well on this thing. So you know, here I am gonna go a little bit to the left, and then bring it right on back into the right. So I mean, For those back and forth turns, bring it right on around. This thing will rip. This thing is ready to rock and roll right here, that is for sure. So, get full tuck. I probably wouldn't mind a seat that really locks in on this one, you know, especially if you're going to really go rip it. But I mean, it's kind of the seating position as this bike puts you in. You really don't have to have it, but maybe just a little something right there to give you that little, hold your tail a little bit better. Wouldn't be too bad. But yeah, see, look at this thing. I mean, it's just a breeze to go rip around. So much fun. The braking's good too on it. I mean, it's a pretty small bike. You can ride with passengers on these pretty well, pretty easily. You're just granted, this one is not set up for it. So you don't have pegs, you don't have the seat. So if you wanted to ride with a passenger and you don't want them to scuff up the rear fender or have to wrap their legs around you or something else sketchy, then you'd have to get it set up for that. But for a rider starting off, this one will be a pretty good one. Yeah, this is a pretty good beginner bike, I'd say. You know, it's 1200 Sportster, so I mean, it's plenty of power. It's not underpowered, you know, compared to the power that you need to go, I guess, live a normal life in traffic. Hello. It's not underpowered in that regard. So yeah, it's got good brakes, good balance. So when you've got, like you saw, I mean, you've got plenty of power to go get up on the highway, you know, keep up with folks out on the road. So I mean, it does all that great. And then you've already got the engine guard too, so you know, you're learning how to ride, you drop it, oh no, oh well, pick it back up, learn from what you did, and go from there. And it's very simple too, so there's not, you know, a whole lot of, there's nothing to really get distracted. There's nothing to really get distracted by on the motorcycle. I mean, what you see is what you get, but it's also very basic, so you know, plenty of room to go and customize it on your own. Let's see, I think I've got a, where does this bus go? Oh, this bus does not. That's a shame. I needed that turn. Oh well, we're taking the long way today, I guess. Alright folks, we're taking you to NC State today, it looks like. I really didn't want to brake check the bus. I thought the bus stop was before that turn. It's, in case you weren't aware, it is, I would consider it ill practice to pass a bus and then lock up on the brakes in front of them to make a turn. Would not recommend. Yeah, so here it is. You're ripping the class. You hit the little to the right, and then you hit the little to the left. Yeah, you can get down on this thing. This is fun. This is a fun motorcycle. Let's see. Hopefully my microphone doesn't run out of storage. We're gonna make a ride up here. That'll be fun. Yeah, I guess we'll just take you on a pretty normal city commute. Oh, so I forgot. So it doesn't have cruise control, but it does have the little throttle lock on it. So from the factory, Harley gave you like a little wing nut underneath the right where your right thumb is. There's like a little wing nut of sorts under there. So what you can do is you can kind of work that with your thumb. And typically how you want to do it is you want to tighten it just enough to hold the throttle in the right position, but it's not too tight, so that way if you needed to, you know, if something were to happen and you needed to get on the throttle, or at least close the throttle, you could do it. So yeah, so you have that going for you, which is pretty nice. Is Mr. New York coming to get a pizza? No. So yeah, keep that in mind. Like I said, you know, this motorcycle is simple. You got your analog speedo right there. Pretty nice. And like I've said before, if you aren't following along with NC State basketball right now, you should be. NC State has entered the Final Four for the first time since 1983 when they won it. So keep that in mind. You heard it here, folks. I think they're going all the way to the top. Is that just because I'm rooting for NC State and I don't know how we stack up compared to the remaining teams? Maybe it is. But go Pack. Go Pack's all I have to say to that. Go Pack and go ride motorcycles. So do what you wish with that information. Yeah, so we out here on a motorcycle. This is a fun motorcycle. Highly recommend. Out here cruising. Beautiful day for it. Yeah, you can really lean it. If you scooch a little bit forward on this seat, you can kind of lean back a little bit if you need to. But throttle responsiveness, it's there. I mean, third gear, 3900, you can roll on pretty well. Oh, the helmet got whacked with something. Half helmets are fun, but when you're in your full face and then you hear some pretty loud sounds whack at the outside of it, it makes you appreciate that full face a little bit more sometimes. So yeah, the braking's great on this bike. It just rips so good. This is so much fun. Bobber style little round air cleaner, pretty classic. Air cooled black chrome. And the things people are doing with Sportsters these days, they're doing a lot with them. So, I mean, you can make a Sportster just about look like whatever you want it to. I mean, you can go full, this light never turns red. And you can go full chopper, bro, do some fender struts, or do some, struts in the rear, do some massive tubes on the front end, rake it out, all that stuff. Or if you want to really lean into the performance side, throw some rear sets on the Sporty. Throw some rear sets and some clip-ons on the Sporty, and have at it. So. Took you on a slightly different tour today. Yeah, and look at everything getting built over here. So we're going to take this exit and we're going to slow it down just a little bit and try something a little bit different. Come to the outside a little bit more. It snaps right about here. Quite the exit we wanted. Oh, somebody let this guy over. Hey bud, how are you? So that is your pre-owned motorcycle of the week, so be sure to come check this guy out. Welcome back to Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson. Yeah, this thing's pretty sweet. It's a ton of fun to go rip around. like I said, you know, if you're looking for a good beginner bike, you just want something that's a little sportier to go rip around, or you're looking for a new bike for, or a new to you bike for, you know, a little project, go rip around everywhere. A little ripper. Can you tour with these? Yeah, you can. Obviously, there's other motorcycles that are set up a little bit better for those longer touring rides, but the old 48 here, she's a blast. So be sure to stop by here. It's back road Harley-Davidson. Come see us. Come see this bike sometime soon. So ride safe and take care.